Welcome to the Fabulous at 50 podcast, where we are changing the aging narrative. I'm your host, Joanne Neweduk, and I'm thrilled to bring you stories that matter and celebrate your place in the world. As an advocate for lifelong learning, health, and women's empowerment, I believe it's never too late to live the life you've always imagined. Through lively and informative interviews with inspiring guests, we'll explore a wide range of topics relevant to our global sisterhood of vibrant, inquiring women just like you. Join me for today's episode, and let's start changing the aging narrative together. Hey, welcome everyone to today's episode and the start of a new season for the Fabulous at 50 podcast. I'm so thrilled that you've joined me today. Today is all about just welcoming you and letting you know a bit about the podcast, whether you have been a past fan or you're brand new. I just wanted to bring you up to par with what's going on with the Fabulous at 50 community and to let you know a little bit about our theme for this year. Or for this season, rather. And this season, we've called it Changing the Aging Narrative. And this came from feedback from the women in the Fabulous at 50 sisterhood. They really wanted to have topics and things addressed that does change the aging narrative. But I think it's really important to first decide, what does that really mean, right? What is changing the aging narrative? And I personally think it has us looking at what do we have running in our minds? What are the stories running in the minds that we have formulated from our own perspectives and from societal pressures? There's a lot of different messaging out there, and things that I've heard from women in midlife can be sad at times. I've heard women say they feel irrelevant. I've heard women say that they kind of feel redundant. They can't do the things that they want to do because they feel too old. Yet really there's nothing actually holding them back except our perceptions and our attitudes as a community, individual, as a community, as a whole society. So if we change the conversation, if we change that narrative, that conversation that's going on, or we simply go ahead and have conversations we want and ignore the societal pressures that we think, right? So this could be a wide range of things. Let's start with health and wellness, because that's, of course, more my area of expertise. My mother and that generation, oh my God, she never talked about a period, let alone going through the change of life or menopause. I know that she had these horrible hot sweats all the time, but it wasn't a conversation. I knew she was suffering through it, but it wasn't like a conversation. I don't know really whether she talked to her other female friends, but that's something I think we need to talk about. We need to know that we don't have to suffer alone. We need to know what is available for us to get support and help, and then even having conversations around what is it like to be that sandwich generation. When we had our children at younger ages, often a grandmother could even be 40. Like, we're talking generations ago. But now, if someone waits till 30, 40 years old to have their own children, sometimes grandparents are getting older. So you get that sandwich generation of people dealing with their elderly parents, but still maybe raising children. We want to have conversations around this, that what does it mean? Is it okay to take some time for me so that I'm not getting burnt out? So changing those conversations, being willing to have a conversation really about any topic. So that brings me to your role. I would absolutely love to hear back from you. If you're listening to this podcast, please go into our Facebook group if you use Facebook, and go into the Fabulous at 50 sisterhood. If you're not yet part of that group, ask to be part of the group, and then go in there and say, hey, I just listened to this podcast. These are the topics I would love to hear about. And then I will do my best to bring those topics to you. Now, it might be that I do a solo talk and it's a bit of an education on some health topic, Or it could be, and most of the time it is, I like to have conversations with other people that have an interest in women in midlife. Either they are themselves a woman of a certain age, or in what they consider midlife. And I consider midlife maybe kind of late 40s to into 60s, but really this is about at any age, 50 and beyond. We'll have people on that are in their 70s and 80s and still rocking what they love to do. But that kind of midlife time is in that realm. And there's a lot of women doing amazing stuff out there. And I want to have them on so that they inspire you. I personally believe that at any age, we can be living a life that brings us joy and brings us meaning and has us feel that we are still a valuable contributor. So please let me know. Join our group. And especially if you're not on the Facebook and want to interact on social media, please join our community by going to the website, fabulous at 50, that's 50.com. And when you land on there, you'll see it's called Make Mine Fabulous. It's a little ebook that you can download, and there's 21 ways to energize your life because we want to feel vibrant and radiant and energized. And these are some ways that you can do it that are fun and easy to do. We get into lots of other ways when we get together for different meetings and activities. But go ahead, get that free gift, and that puts you on our email list. And then you'll know what's going on in our community. So talking about that, I've had a few people ask, can you explain to me in a synopsis, how does the community of Fabulous work? So very simply, if you think of concentric circles, because women like circles and meeting in circles, is the biggest circle is sort of the greater community for the Fabulous brand. And that includes everyone that's on the email list, anyone that comes across a podcast or a blog that just goes, hey, I want me some of that. I want to identify with women that are welcoming and supportive of each other and choosing to bring fabulous into their lives. Because face it, if we've made it this far in life, we have had heartache. We've probably had health issues, or we've had family issues. Like there's something that has been going on. But despite all that, we are survivors and we want to thrive and we want to bring a bit of fabulous in our life. And fabulous can be the joyful fun we spend together, but it can also be that cry on your friend's shoulder when things are going wrong. That to me is still fabulous. Like you can bring that into your life. So that's the outer circle, someone that just is not connected to someone directly, but likes the material that we're sharing. So that's one. Then you can move in closer and get involved with our group on Facebook if you're on social media, where you can interact a little bit more. And better yet, you can join our membership. And our membership, so that would be more like the inner circle. And that is open to anyone because our meetings are online. They're a Zoom call right now on a Tuesday evening. And that is for women that want to actually connect with other women around the country. I was going to say around the country. Although I'm based in Canada, we have people that are outside of Canada. Really, if you can speak English and the time zone works for you, please join us. That is fantastic. You can speak other languages. That'd be amazing. But you might not understand what I'm saying because sadly, the only language I'm proficient in is English. But I admire everyone else that knows another language. So that is, we have our greater community interacting with us digitally. And then we have our membership, which is called Fab Soul Circle. So that is, women for really thousands of years have met in circles and they come together. And our circle is all about a sisterhood. We say this soul stands for our sisterhood. The O is open-heartedness. So it's a very welcoming, loving community. The U is uniqueness and the respect for each other's uniqueness. It's not a group that comes together where everyone's the same. We delight in everybody's individuality. And then the L is for laughter, because one of the ways to make us seem radiant and joyful is sharing laughter together. And women know how to laugh. And that is the best. So if you haven't had a good laugh, I invite you to join us in our membership. And then for the lucky ones that live in the Calgary area, that's where I am based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I try my best to put on a monthly live event. Now, if you live outside and you're traveling this way, you are welcome to come to any of our events, but this is where I'm currently hosting my live events. We also have a woman that is a bit of an ambassador for the Toronto area, and we have had other cities, but when the world turned upside down, some of those communities, didn't maintain their status, and we're hoping to build that back up at some point in time. So if you have any questions at all, please, you can reach me by going to the website. There's a little chat box down in the corner. And in that corner, you can just enter your name and some information and then a message, and it actually gets texted to me. And I promise that within, usually give me a day. Often it's faster than a day. I should get back to you and answer whatever questions you have. So right now I'm going to sign off and invite you to watch our upcoming episodes. And I welcome you to the Fabulous at 50 community. Thank you so much for tuning in today. But before you leave, I'm curious. What pearl of wisdom are you taking away from today's episode? I do hope it held some inspiration or information for you to live your best life. If you are not yet part of our sisterhood, I invite you to join our community by visiting our website, fabulousat50.com, and you'll receive a free copy of our ebook, Make Mine Fabulous, 21 Ways to Energize Your Life. It is packed with loads of tips and tricks. Plus, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this podcast and leave us a review to let us know what you think. Remember, keep choosing fabulous. It's never too late to live the life you deserve. Catch you on the next episode.